Hello, I'm Grandmaster Max Illingworth, and in this video, I will share with you a really fun attacking miniature played between two strong international masters. And in this game, Black won against the Queen's Gambit in only 19 moves. So, for those of you who don't know, the Queen's Gambit is where after d4 and d5, White plays c4, attacking the d5 pawn. And here we'll see the Queen's Gambit accepted, where Black plays d takes c4. And a quite simple way to play as Black is just to play b5 against most of White's moves. For example, White plays e3. Then you can even play b5 here. Sure, it's not one of the main moves in this position, but the idea is that you can actually give back the pawn and end up getting quite a solid position out of the opening just by developing quite normally. Moves like bishop b7, bishop e7, followed by playing a c5 break in the middle game to match White's space in the center. And this is one way to get a playable position without needing to know any special theory, as it were. And in the game, White decided to play more ambitiously. He decided on the move e4. And even here, the move b5 is quite a tricky system, which I also found in my own experience is not so easy to deal with. From White's perspective. So White played a4 to undermine the Black center. Black played c6 to keep his pawn chain. And after a takes b5, c takes b5, and knight c3. In the last 4 or so years, Black has come up with a very interesting idea in this position based on the move a6. And initially the move a6 may seem like a blunder in this position, because White can play knight takes b5 and use the pin on the a file to get his pawn back. However, here is where Black showed his idea. Playing the exchange sacrifice a takes b5. And after rook takes a8, Black played the move bishop to b7, already hitting the rook and threatening White's e4 pawn. So where would you move the rook? Where would you move the rook as White in this position? White played the move rook a1 in the game, and you could make the case that playing rook a2 and bring the knight towards c3 might be a better try for an advantage for White, to also try and attack this pawn later. Because one thing you might notice in this position, if we take the game continuation rook a1 and Black's move e6, is that the White bishop has a hard time getting out. We can only develop to e2 because of the strong c4 pawn. And note that we don't rush with bishop takes e4 because we want to sometimes have a bishop b4 check available in some positions. So White played the move f3, which in some ways is the most natural move, because against other moves we could take that pawn on e4 and get one pawn and say after knight e2 and bishop e4. Then Black would try to bring its knight to d5 and potentially have some positional compensation for the exchange. Even so, this is probably the way White should play it, with knight c3 and so forth. But in the game, White played the more natural move of f3, trying to defend this e-pawn. Now, those of you who have played the English defense as Black may know what is a good idea for Black in this position. What would be your idea in this case? As usual, you can pause the video if you need more time to come up with a move for Black. So here Black played a very nice idea to open the position, exploit the fact that White has no development and his king is still in the center. So Black played this move f5, already attacking this pawn and trying to bring our bishop into the game. And after e takes f5, what do you think is the follow-up for Black? Now, you might think that e takes f5 would be the move, but that might also lose Black's initiative as well. So Black instead sacrificed many pawns with knight to e7, but with the idea that after fe6 that Black can go knight f5. And suddenly White has the question of how to deal with the attack on the d4 pawn. So White played knight to e2 in the game, trying to defend this pawn. Perhaps a move like rook a7 might have been a possible improvement, trying to undermine Black's initiative as such, the attack on the bishop. But white played knight to e2. Black brought the knight to c6. And okay, after king to f2, black has a pretty good move in this position. So what do you think black should play in this case? Last chance to pause the video before I show you the solution. Okay, black played the move knight c takes d4. It is true you could also consider bishop c5 as another way to attack that pawn on d4. But in the game, black played knight c takes d4. After knight takes d4, as I mentioned before, often you're not forced to automatically capture a piece. Chess is not checkers after all. But rather, black played this move bishop c5. And if you want to challenge yourself here, then you might make this a white to play puzzle and see if you can find the only move to keep white in the game in this position. So in the game, white played bishop e3, which we will get to in a moment. Probably in hindsight, what white had to play was to give back the material to try and catch up in development. After all, white is a rook and a pawn ahead, so that gives him some leeway to give back some material to fend off the attack. So white could have played bishop takes c4, giving back a piece, but after knight takes d4. So there are quite a few discovered attack threats, as well as the attack on the bishop. So bishop e3 covers that. I think after b takes c4 and queen a4, I think white will be okay in this position, where white will get back his material that he sacrificed. And also the black king is a bit exposed. So in this position, it's more important to take the initiative back, to take control of the game, than to try to hang on to the material at all costs. Because we'll see that white will be a rook up in this arising position with bishop e3, knight takes e3, and king e3. But the problem is that white just doesn't have a good way out of this pin. And if he can't get his pieces out or get his king to safety, then much like in the fried liver attack, the extra material is not going to help white here. So black played castles, saying that white doesn't really have a good way out of this pin in any case. And white really is just completely dominated in a position like this one. If white plays bishop e2, I think black can play in a similar way to the game, where we're thinking queen to f6, but perhaps we can even improve on this even further. But in any case, it's clear that black will have a very strong attack against the knight on d4. And well, the game will show that once black gets the knight back, that he'll have just a very monstrous initiative. So white tried queen d2 instead. Then queen f6 followed, and already, for example, queen e5 is a threat to force the king away and allow us to take the knight and finish off the white king. So white played rook d1, and here black decided to follow the good attacking principle of bringing the final piece into the attack. So it played rook d8, and white actually resigned here because there just isn't really a good way to get out of black's threats. Say if white plays bishop e2, for example, then I mean already you have many good moves, but take queen to e5, king f2, and after rook takes d4, then you have the attack on the queen, and the queen moves you can play a discovered check or discovered attack. And white just doesn't have anything in this position to save himself. Actually, you may have observed an even better move that black would even have played bishop f3, because of the fact that g takes and queen f3 would in fact be a checkmate because of the pin on the knight. So as the old saying goes, all roads lead to Rome here. So with that, we saw a really nice attacking system where you can play the Queen's Gambit accepted and follow up with b5 to either get a very simple development scheme if white puts the pawn e3, or to play a very interesting exchange sack if white plays e4, where white only needs to make one or two mistakes and he could suddenly find himself in a lost position out of the opening. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.